We're live. All right, what's going on, everybody? Hello, big hello. So welcome to all our worldwide Mingos. Thank you guys for joining us today for the second edition here of A Beer with Your Second Favorite Team. My name is Kubik Shijostenek. I'm the Director of Fan Engagement and Digital Media here at the club. I'm excited to be hosting the panel today. We've got some pretty cool guests for you guys. As you know, Mingos Worldwide, it's our chance to bring in fans from wherever you may be to kind of be a part of our club, get to ask questions to people involved with the club, kind of some of the big decisions that go on in building this team here in Madison. So thank you guys for joining us today. We're really proud of this community that we've built. We think it's really cool, and we're thankful for your time and energy on social media that you put into us. So I'll quit talking and introduce kind of the members of our panel today. Sitting over here, we have Chase Egan. Chase is the head of merchandise for Big Top Sports and Entertainment. He joined the company in 2018, oversees merchandise operations for Forward Madison FC, our League Two team, the Green Bay Voyagers, and 4 teams from the Northwoods League baseball teams. Next to Chase is Cassidy Sapnieski. She's the head designer for Big Top Sports and Entertainment. So she also designed the kits for Madison FC, designed the kits for the Green Bay Voyagers, and she does all the kind of head of creative for the Northwoods League baseball teams as well. So welcome to both of you guys.
Thank you.
We'll have a few more guests later, but first we'll kind of let Chase and Cassidy take over a little bit of the story of kind of how the kits happened and everything that goes into that. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Sounds good.
Thanks for the introduction. I think we can both say we're happy to be here. It's been an exciting year seeing this team come together and kind of get off the ground, and being a part of it has been something else. So it's cool to get to come here and talk about it and explain the process and the inside details of these kits that everyone has picked up and seem to take to heart. So like Kuba said, I'm Cassidy Sapnieski. I design for Big Top Sports and Entertainment, and I design the kits for Forward Madison FC.
So yeah, just to get a little back, it was definitely a collaborative effort. Cassidy obviously led the design aspect. Our owners were very involved. Kuba was involved. Our directing manager, Peter Wilt. So kind of all collaborated to kind of bring our ideas together in different backgrounds to start the design process back when the logo was finalized in November or October, I guess. And from there, we kind of got into, what are we going to do for our home kit? What are we going to do for our away? Just kind of throwing ideas together.
Yep.
We would meet, we kind of bring our ideas together, then we'd break out. Cassie would kind of put them on paper, put them together, and kind of come back. We touch base on what we want to change, what we want to tweak. Early on in the design process, we actually thought about potentially, maybe outsourcing it. We work with a lot of different vendors all over the world. We were working with a company in Poland at the time, which we still do work with. They do great work. They actually put together a presentation for us, and we saw it. They had some really cool designs, but we felt that with it being a year one club, we really want to get these designs right. We want them to come from within to make sure they kind of tie into our brand, our roots, and what Madison soccer is all about.
Yeah, we actually had launched 2 teams in the same week in November. Forward Madison FC down here in Madison, and then Green Bay, the Booyah baseball team. And so I remember getting back from that kind of insane week and just immediately being confronted with the conversation about kids. And it was like, all right, we're done with the big lifting of branding, kids, let's talk about it. And I never really was initially in the conversation about kit design, jersey design. As Chase had mentioned, we talked to a couple of other outsourced designers who put together really great designs, and we just realized we weren't grabbing the full potential of Filmation. And so I actually spent 6 hours locked in a room one Saturday after Vernon came to me and said, let's get some designs on the table internally, and just started throwing stuff into Illustrator and down on paper. Any idea that popped into my head kind of went down, whether it stayed in the email that got sent later or not, I won't say, because there were a lot of different things. I don't come from a soccer background, and so it was really challenging for me. The process kind of started with me basically Googling soccer jerseys, which very quickly got corrected to kits, and learning about the soccer community and really the passion and excitement that these kids bring to their own soccer communities, and the dedication, how something so simple as a sash can mean something so strong to the community that it's part of. And I basically was given like 2 rules. It has to have a sash on it. It's got to look like the Madison flag for our home kit, and it's got to be fun and exciting and something maybe that isn't traditionally soccer. So that's kind of where we started. And
so digging a little bit more on the nuts and bolts of like actual design process. So we met with our manufacturer, Hummel, down in Chicago. We kind of felt some different fabrics and different style jerseys. You know, we picked our fabric, we picked our cut for a collar. Then from there, Cassie kind of had that blank canvas to bring all the ideas together. Actually, the first round comes on like a big kind of like bed sheet, actually. So these are the early on like kit designs.
This was the most terrifying thing to walk into a room and see, like, but it was also really neat. It's like, where are the sleeves? Where are the collars? Like half of the design isn't here, but this got us started and got us talking about what changes we could make. Obviously, we ended up getting a sponsor. We ended up changing a few little things, like the whole away kit didn't come with the pattern on it originally, and so we had to kind of go on faith that everything we had planned the last few months of designing was going to come through. Obviously, you can see the goalkeeper kit is here, the big goalkeeper
One
kit.
thing I probably noticed too, with these sheets, these are very important to like validate colors. So with different colors, there's PMS codes, and there's a million different shades of each color. So it's very important when it prints on the fabric that it's truly the color we want it to be. So Cassidy can probably speak a little bit more on the design aspects and how the PMS codes work to bring it all together. But as you can see, like this very early on gold that was used was nowhere near what we wanted.
Right.
So we kind of had to give that feedback and modify and tweak what we were doing with these strike-offs, they call them, these printed out fabric pieces.
We call this the bed sheet, or the tablecloth of jerseys. And if you wear a good cape now, that's about all it's good for. But yeah, like Chase said, this very early strike off was kind of a landing point for a lot of edits, a lot of validations from here. Like maybe the navy was too purpley, maybe this didn't look good with this. From here, actually, we very quickly after this got our kit sponsor, and that was a really exciting time. Dairyland came in to the picture. They had just done a beautiful rebrand on their word mark, their kind of whole brand in general, really updated, and was just really great to have on deck. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, they're purple. Their color's purple, and all of our stuff is pink, blue. It's gonna look a little bit baby showerish, but luckily Dairyland was super open to letting us kind of use their word mark to complement our jerseys, to make them stand out in the best light and to make our stuff stand out in the best light. It was really a symbiotic partnership with them, and it fit our kits absolutely perfectly. Their beautiful script word mark just kind of makes it so much better. Like, how cute. Like, it just ended up fitting in there perfectly, and them being flexible to our colors and their word mark was really helpful with that.
So back to the design process. So this is the first step. Like what you kind of talked about, color verifications. We had flashlights. We took the bed sheet inside and outside to make sure it was that true color we were looking for. As far as the shading on logos, everything down to these minor details that the average person would never think of, we were constantly looking at, tearing apart, making sure it was 100% correct. After that, you get a printed out, like a mock jersey essentially. Again, didn't have our kit sponsor on there. It was the final strike off, that color validation to make sure everything was 100% how we wanted it. And after seeing that, we did tweak it one more time. We felt that the navy wasn't dark enough. So we went with more of a marine navy, darkened up the collar, darkened up the trim. And then as long as the alternate too, it was a lighter color. It was navy technically still, but it just didn't look how we wanted to outside. We noticed it right away and kind of made that adjustment. So that was the second step. And then after that, Cassie does these final validations for all our kit, put them together, send them off to Hummel, and then after that, you get the final production.
Mhm.
And she kind of walk you through now each of the design aspects for each of the kits.
So yeah, so we're kind of wondering to kind of went through the design process, get the kits ordered. Can you guys walk us a little through the day of kind of the reveal, kind of the build up to that?
Yeah, for sure. So as far as the reveal, we kind of threw around a lot of ideas, and a lot of different clubs do it different ways. Some people only do it online. Some people only do it in store. We want to kind of make it a true event. We don't want it to just be a one-day event. We wanted to kind of create this hype, and we wanted to keep it going throughout, multiple weeks, hopefully months, the rest of our season. The way we did it was we did with a partner on a Friday. We had a small group of our supporters, which our supporters are awesome. We had 40 or 50 people there showing up, brought players in, they kind of unveiled it. After that, we had a match the next day, and you had to have a ticket to that match or you weren't buying that jersey. So there was a lot of hype online. It was one of our most popular tweets that we had ever put out there as a club. Got a ton of interaction, not only in our state, in our region, but nationally across the world, which was awesome. So everyone was talking about Fort Madison. The wild thing was the kits weren't still available online. So we kind of took that as like the sneaker kind of like hype. People are talking about us, people are talking about the brand, but there's still that hype and they can't buy it yet. So we kind of continue to grow that buzz across the weekend. So gates opened on Saturday. We didn't completely sell out. We were pretty close to selling out. So pretty much all of our supporters that wanted the jersey got one, which we felt was important. They've been supporting us since day one. We want to give them first dibs before they go online and people buy a ton of them. So then whatever was left, we put online Sunday at 10 a.m., which is pretty cool. I got to flip it live from my house and just watching the orders come in. And within 5 to 10 minutes, we were completely sold out of the small sizes and kind of texting our owners about, what are we going to do? We got to get a reorder. We got to get more coming. And then that Tuesday after the Sunday launch, our club made their debut in the Open Cup, had a great game, got a victory, and then continued that kind of hype talking about, who is this team in the pink jerseys? Like, what are they doing in U.S. soccer is unreal with their kids, and kind of continue to grow that buzz and that hype around our brand and what we're doing locally and how we want to grow this thing. And then it kind of carried on throughout the course of the Open Cup, and there's still, a good buzz around it. And we worked on a reorder. It should be hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. We have a document of fans reaching out to us, giving their name, their number, their size, and willing to pay right now. They want it. They want that kit. So it's been awesome to see, and we appreciate the support from everyone. But we definitely wanted to make it a month-long, week-long event rather than just a one-day online kind of informal kit. I feel like people really did get to have that true, unique experience with our brand when they were buying it online or coming out to the stadium to get the kit.
Cassidy, can you talk a little bit about the design of the pink kit and what went into it from your side?
Yeah, absolutely. So right off the bat, we knew we needed an alternate kit. Home and away were super important. Once we kind of got those designs hammered out, we had quite a few meetings. Kuba, Peter, Chase, Vern, Connor, me got in a room and talked about what we wanted to do. I was all for gradients. I'm like, let's do something crazy. Like, a gradient to me is nuts. Like, let's do it. And Peter wanted fringe so badly. There's a team in Colorado that did fringe in like the 80s, and it's just this insane jersey. I think I got like 3 emails with that image attached. Like, let's do this. Let's look into this. Eventually someone, I think it was Chase, like brought up, a team that we hear quite a bit, but I'm not going to mention it. Maybe I should. I don't know. But, and we went back to the drawing board basically on alternates completely from anything I had. I think I turned in like 2 different, like I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it. I was like, these aren't going to get picked. And this was the one. I like sent it. Chase was like, yep, that's it. Let's do it. Vern agreed. Connor kind of was like, sure. And then everyone just seemed to fall in line with it, which is great.
Yeah, I think the cool thing with alternate kits is it kind of, allows you to think outside the box. So early on, we saw when we dropped the logo that everyone loved the pink and they loved the flamingo. And there was this huge just hunger for pink apparel, pink merchandise. And we're like, talking about the alternate kit, it had to be pink. Like, there were just so many people asking about it. And we felt that we owed it to everyone, that we came out strong, killed the design, and it was out there. It was fun. It really grabbed people's attention. So that's why we went with the pink kit. It was a great decision. I think one of our best decisions as a design team. And merchandise wise for our club.
Yeah, I think the hardest balance between, or like hardest challenge, I guess, balancing these colors. I mean, they're beautiful colors, but how do you make it look not baby shower-ish or, boy versus girl, or, you make it dramatic. You have to make it worth wearing. And so, like, we put a lot of detail into it. Like, every jersey or every kit that we have has just tremendous detail that Peter Kuba, the soccer team here, really encouraged and directed.
Yep.
And
the
like,
brand we
it's
kind of
just
looked at
fantastic.
too. We want to be more like the sport culture, the street side of it too. Obviously, Madison is a trendier city, so we felt that was important to implement some of those more edgier design aspects to make sure that really did resonate with our true consumer and who's coming into our games and our club show.
So were you guys surprised, both Chase from the sales side and then Cassidy kind of from the response to the design? Is this what you were expecting, or did it kind of exceed your expectations?
I'd say sales side, obviously we're taking a risk. We were hopeful it was going to pay off. We were very confident, I think, with the amount of support we have from our local fan base and our national fan base. So I guess it didn't surprise us that much, but it is pretty sweet that a team can, do that amount of volume we did in our alternate kits.
From the design side, I was really nervous. I think this was probably my most nervous moment, was being at this release. And then 2 weeks later, I saw cookies of them in festival, and that was the moment for me that brought out all of this into real life and made it very successful for me personally, was seeing those cookies of the alternate kit in festival and just being like, wow, yes, let's go. I bought a dozen of them immediately. It was fantastic.
Cassidy, we do have one question for you.
Sure.
The Mingo on the flank on the home jersey.
Mhm.
What was how did you decide that, or what was the idea behind that?
The one here?
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is I love the circular mark, and it felt really underutilized. We obviously needed to stick with the primary mark on all of our stuff. It's iconic at this point and very strong, but I wanted to utilize this mark. I think it's just a neat way to do it. It ended up being very bold and exciting and visible from TV, and I knew all of our games were going to be televised, so that was important, that we got kind of our brand out there as much as we could. Sometimes you can't see this on TV, but you can see this and what that is, and that we're here in your city, and the finer details on the sleeves, and some of that gets missed. So this needed to be visible and clearly Mingo.
All right, awesome. We're gonna keep you guys here. We're gonna bring in some extra people. We have our Chief Operating Officer, Connor Kaloya. He's gonna come in, give you guys a little bit of update about what's going on with the organization. And also Team Captain Connor Tobin is here. We'll get out of your guys' way. So the two Connors come in. So Connor C, if you could give us a quick rundown, what's going on with the organization, kind of any updates on the business side.
Yeah, well, next home game this Saturday, obviously, and we got a couple home games in a row here where, while the Open Cup run was great, it also presented some challenges for the team. We didn't have any home games. With that, we somehow managed to lose 3 coin tosses, and then adding 3 additional games to the schedule. So it's nice that the club gets 8 days off before our home match this Saturday. So we'll hope the guys come back rested and ready to go. Support, attendance, the community continues to be great, and we're really, now that we're in the summer, starting to feel it build and grow. So we're very excited about getting some good weather and getting some great home matches, and then we've got a couple of very exciting exhibitions as well. Minnesota United coming in here on Tuesday the 25th has a chance to be the biggest game in club history. It's at least pacing that way right now from an attendance and standpoint. And then another exhibition in July as well. So I think we're still a startup in many ways. I think we sometimes forget that. We've been in business a year essentially, but we've only played, I think, 5 home matches. So we're learning a lot, and we're really, I don't want to say dying, but we're desperate for fan feedback because we need to get better. Every game we got to get better, and that's kind of the internal message here of staff is let's make sure that the 15th is better than the 1st and the 22nd is better than the 15th. So On the field, we're in a rough patch, but we do have confidence in our team and in Daryl and in the squad that we're gonna turn things around here. We're only a couple wins away from being right in the mix again, and we're also gonna continue to be aggressive from a player standpoint to see if we do need to add a couple pieces of the puzzle, see what we can find.
Awesome, perfect, thanks. Connor, if you want to kind of touch a little bit on locker room atmosphere now, obviously a tough run of form for the guys. Kind of what's on the team side?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's not too much of a secret that May didn't go probably the way we wanted, and particularly in the league over the last 4 games, we've hit a rough patch. I think the nature of this league, and given it's a 10-team league, you win a couple games and you're obviously feeling you're flying high, you're feeling great, and you're pushing towards playoffs. You lose a couple games in a row, and you end up in the position that we are. I think we're trying to find a balance in the locker room between not panicking, but also understanding we need to have a sense of urgency, not just when we go out to play on a Saturday night, but how we train each and every day. So there's been a lot of focus on, can we be consistent about the way we approach training as far as our intensity, but also within that, can we find moments where we can find moments to improve both collectively and individually. So that way, when we come into a Saturday night, hopefully we can start to get these results turned and get to where all of you guys out there as fans, what you guys deserve, because the support that we felt as players, even though this hasn't gone great, I think every one of the guys in the locker room will tell you that we absolutely feel the positivity from our fans. And because of that, we have an obligation to get this thing right, and it's something that I feel very confident that we're going to do.
Connor, have you heard any kind of feedback personally from players from other teams about the atmosphere at Breeze being maybe a little more special than some other
I
teams?
mean, I know quite a few guys in the league, and anyone that's played up here has commented on it, but I think it goes beyond that. I've had guys that I know that play in USL Championship or MLS that I've talked to, and one of the first things they say about Madison is like, man, I can't believe the support that you guys are getting. And what's very interesting about that is obviously a big component of that is the match day atmosphere in the stadium, but people talk about our online presence and how many people that are out there talking about the club, and that's a lot of you guys, and it's a big credit to our fans across the board.
Cool, awesome, thanks. So we'll jump into some Q&As here. First one for Chase. It's probably the question that we're bugging you with every single day.
When
The third goalkeeper kit, when can the people expect it?
We've talked about it internally. Definitely open to it. That's about the extent.
you gotta give the people what they want, Chase.
I
I think. I mean,
a teaser. I mean, if we do it, we'll offer a pre-order. Make sure whoever who wants one would have the ability to buy one. We're just working on how we'd roll that out.
from an organizational standpoint, we got a lot moving right now, and the last thing we'd want to do would be to add another kit to the mix and not be able to deliver. And not that we didn't deliver on the alternate kit, but we ran out in 72 hours, and we're waiting for back orders now. So if we could just ask you to be patient in time, that alternate kit will come. It might just take a little longer than we all had hoped.
Okay. Cassidy, this one's for you. What is your biggest source of design inspiration?
That's a great question. I think it comes from the people around me. This team did a fantastic job of building up the staff with people who were knowledgeable about the sport, knowledgeable about their own positions, and very, very open to giving feedback, giving clear kind of not do's and don'ts, but guidance when I needed it, and also just throwing ideas out there that might not land or might sound absolutely insane. And I don't think we could have a better team of characters to pull from than we do. But this office is filled with people who are both good at their jobs and creatively just running on all cylinders all the time. So it's an exciting environment to design in and work for.
Okay, this next one, a couple parts to it. So we'll start with kind of the maybe not bad stuff, but there's been kind of a lot of early success. But what are some kind of lessons that you guys have learned so far in this kind of first third of the season that we've gone through? That could be to pretty much everybody.
I would just say, we just can't get complacent. I'm talking, I think, more on the business side than the on the field side of things. But we've had some wins for sure, but I mean, this is a long-term play for us. It's a 20-year plan and play. And while things are good, there's still a ton of things that need to be improved. There's a lot of things we're, I'd say underperforming, but not meeting our goals, numbers, expectations. So, I think what we need to do internally here is celebrate the wins, but at the same time, don't get, fat and happy or whatever the term is. We need to keep fighting and make sure we're getting better every game.
I think from a team side, I think it's a realization for a lot of people watching. This is going to be a hard league. So whatever expectations that we had coming in, it's, we're in a reality right now that we're in a tough league and we're in a tough position, and it's going to take a lot to get out of it. But again, that's something that if you're going to take that lesson, let's learn it early on. That way we have, still 2/3 of the season to improve and get to where the fans of this club deserve.
The other thing we've learned is whether it's merch or White Claw, take what your order was and multiply it by 4 and order that much. Because we've been moving a lot of those things.
Yes.
Merch and White Claw.
That's what we do here. Connor, maybe this one's from you, from Ryan Kelly. Kind of wondering, what is the time frame on a jump to MLS, or is there a time frame for that?
Probably 30 to 90 days. We're gonna try. No, Ryan, we're flattered. We appreciate you getting us in the mix. We gotta get things right at League One here before we consider the next level, before we take our talents to the MLS. So no, I'm not sure if it was Ryan last time we did this as well, but this question's come up a few times.
I think I'd be more worried about MLS snagging the design team after.
Yeah,
third kids.
Yeah, we got a non-compete going with these two. But no, we're really, we think League One's been great. We have a great relationship with USL, and we want to both on and off the field be the best team in League One. That's our focus.
Okay, perfect. So how do you top the success of the kits this year? Is there designs in the work for next season yet?
Yeah, we actually already started the conversation. I was in Connor's office yesterday talking about how, we need to, he was just talking about it. We did great work this year, but we need to step up the bar next year. And, our fans expect it, they're owed it. We got to make sure we have all our parts in place to make sure we can deliver on the field and off the field as well. We will keep our home kit from the same year 1 to year 2, but we still have that blank canvas for our away, our alternate, and our keeper kits. And we want to make sure we fully utilize that, give the fans what they deserve, and it's gonna look good.
I think one thing we've learned too, and you guys may have mentioned this already, but on November 18th, we rolled out the logo. There was a risk. Like I didn't sleep the night before. I thought we might not have. We might have been a little too far out there, and that was well received, right? And all that did was embolden us to be even further out there with the kids. And I think what Forward Madison's being built on is taking risks, and hopefully they pay off. They're not all going to pay off, but we're kind of becoming risk takers, especially when it comes to branding and design. And I think that's what's going to drive us as we get together and do our kits for next year. We're going to keep taking risks.
Okay.
For me, I think the key is starting early. Like we said, we rolled we rolled out our logo on November 18th, and then kits were right after that. And I think this year, the earlier we start, the more time and kind of thought. Not that we didn't put a ton of thought into the kits last year, but if we're not we pace it out a little more. We can definitely put some more thought into everything and get you raise the bar even more this year. So
avoid any potential shipping delays that might pop up.
up.
Eduardo is asking if there's any development on youth teams or U17, U15, Forward Madison sides.
As far as us, and as I mentioned, this being a 20-year play, we're going to kind of do one thing at a time and then kind of move on. And while there's a lot of League One and championship teams into that academy space or even into the youth teams, we're pretty adamant that when we start, we're going to be club neutral and work with all the different clubs throughout. And we actually, Connor Tobin is involved a little bit on our kind of planning team as we kind of envision or map out what an academy program looks like. It's not an immediate thing for us. We're the only pro team in Wisconsin right now. So we want to be Wisconsin's team. We want to be open-armed and not do anything that might ostracize any different youth club or group. So right now we're pretty wide open, but it is something down the road. I think in order for us to keep up with the other teams at League One and the championship that we'll consider. But I'd say we're 6 to 12 to 18 to maybe 24 months away from solidifying that.
I think one of the things that's really cool about this club is, you mentioned being club neutral. I think it goes beyond being club neutral. This club's taken an active role building a relationship with Mesa, which is the local kind of body that oversees all the local clubs. And there's hopefully some stuff coming down the pipeline here in the next month or two where we'll be able to do some stuff, both leveraging our coaching resources, but also players, and putting on, player symposiums or things like of that sort that can kind of help all the clubs. So we're not just neutral, but we're actually benefiting every single club that's out there. I think that's something that's been very unique in the approach that this club has taken.
Awesome. Great. So I think for kind of one of our final ones we had was, it's good to beat it for everybody as well. If there was another club whose kits you'd like, what would that club be? Kind of favorite kit outside of Forward Madison, of course.
Green Bay Voyagers.
I agree.
It's gotta be.
Company man.
That's a good
I've always liked PSGs, but I like that mark as well.
Turbo.
I know this will be a hot take for Kikuba, but Tottenham.
Kubo, what do you got?
It's tough. I like all the Liga MX teams, all the different design. So maybe I'll go with like Tigres or someone. They're out there. They're like the Forward Madisons of Mexico. But yeah, great. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining us, the panelists. Thank you to all our Mingos Worldwide who joined us from around the world. And if you have any other questions, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, and we'll get them answered on
If you're
there.
coming to town from France or wherever, we'll pick you up at the airport. If you're coming, if you're flying from like New York, we're not going to pick you up. But if you're coming from out of the country, let us know. We'll come get you, whether it's O'Hare, Milwaukee, Madison, and we'll be your tour guides. So we appreciate you guys, all the support across the world.
Yeah, and Forward Madison friendly rates at Hotel Indigo right across the street. Give a plug for the sponsor.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks for supporting.